Welcome everyone to a Sunday edition of 90 Day Fiancé Fridays, but on a Sunday.
Yeah, it's the Sunday version of Friday. So technically, just pretend that it's Friday and get drunk, but then go to work hungover tomorrow. That's how it works.
Or if you're lucky like me, I get to celebrate Columbus Day tomorrow.
Oh, it's tomorrow. On tomorrow. So yeah, we're good.
So how was tonight's episode for you?
Oh, this was a really good episode. We got some good scenes with Chitty and Renee, which I think we were all waiting on. We knew that it was coming, and I feel like we finally got those. And it was good. And I like the new chick, Vanja or Vanja. I don't know how to say it right, but I like her a lot. There's a lot of holes in her story. With this guy Boja, I like to call him Bozo. I like to call
Mhm.
how their names are spelled. I think that there's something going on with that. I have theories already. My theories. I have theories about that already.
Yeah, I don't. Or to me, she's the belly dancer girl.
Yeah, belly dancer girl who's also a makeup artist, a vegan baker, and a medical supplies salesperson. She's got like a lot of jobs, but I think she's dating a 38-year-old basketball player who lives with his mom. So I've got lots and lots of theories. Like I don't. There's nothing wrong with living with your mom,
Hmm.
but at 38. And then when they showed the previews of him playing basketball, it looked like he was just playing basketball like at the local outdoor court, like for the neighborhood. So like I think that he's telling her things that aren't probably true. That's my theory.
Hmm. I mean, the thing that jumped out to me was, I bet I'm taller than him. He looks like he's like 5'3" or something.
See, I don't know. I saw that too. And then some people said that in some regions of the world, like height is not like what's the word that I would describe? It's like equal. It's not equal. Like so, in certain parts of the world, like some people are saying in European countries, the people are much shorter than they are, than like here in this part of the world. I don't know how true that is. I'm not cultured enough to know if that's true. But a lot of people were saying like if you go to China or the Philippines, their height is much smaller than it is in certain countries. So I was like, maybe he's tall for his region. But yeah, I noticed that too.
Yeah, I mean, I know those European basketball leagues. I mean, well, I guess some of them are kind of competitive, but his specific country maybe is extra uncompetitive.
Well, the first thing that stood out to me, I know very minimal about sports, was he's a 38-year-old basketball player. When it
Mm.
comes to sports, your lifespan of your career is very short. Like they consider old in sports like very, very fast. Like if you get drafted and you're 20, when you're
Mm.
40, there people are looking for you to retire. So I was like, he's 38, he would be really close to retirement age and he hasn't made enough money to move out of his mom's house yet. So I don't know if this is more anything more than just a hobby for him, because if you're playing basketball professionally, it can't be a hobby. It has to be a job, and if
Mm.
your hobby doesn't pay you, then you have to get a job. There's nothing wrong with having a hobby, but you have to also have a job.
But the belly dancer girl, I will give her like credit that she followed me on Instagram before the season even started through her own finding me. So,
Oh, nice. You didn't tell me that. Yeah, that's awesome. I think that,
and she's in Orlando where you are.
yeah, she is. We're actually neighbors. We found out during the hurricane. I was talking to a lot of my Orlando peeps, and her and Vaya, we're all really close together actually.
Mm.
And
Oh,
found out that she's pretty close by. We're talking about what we're doing to prepare. And I think you might remember her more. She was at the boat party.
yeah, no, I definitely
Yeah.
remember that part.
She was at the boat party and she was the chick everyone's like, who is that? That's the chick from the boat party. And, so I think that they have high hopes for her story, because that could have easily invited somebody more seasoned to
Mm.
the boat party, but they invited her to meet all the corporate people and do all these interviews. So I think that they have high hopes for her in the franchise. So, I'm keeping my eye on her, because I feel like they are pushing her. So I was like, there has to be a reason for that.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say the thing I was gonna say that I forgot and I remembered was Yeah, like 38 as far as a professional athlete is like super old. It's kind of like it reminds me of like the adult industry where it's like if you're 30, you're considered a MILF.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, that's I mean, by no means am I calling anybody old, but like when you hear of a okay, so like look, say a person is a rapper and they're 38 and they haven't had a hit yet. You know, we would any record label will be like, you're too damn old, for us to put any money into. You would have to be 17, for us to put $1 million into your career. And I feel like it works the same way with sports. I'm not saying it's fair. I think that people are in the prime of their life, well into their 50s,
Mm.
physically comes to playing professional sports. I was like, this dude is 38. He's like at the end of his career, and I was like, he's still live with his mother. And, he doesn't even have, I don't know, because she said that he was going to try to look for an apartment, or whatever. He didn't even start. So I don't know. I'm getting like Sean vibes, like from
Yeah.
that he's just probably because he's a guy, because she kept mentioning his abs. I was like, I think
Mhm.
guys, they're just like they go to the gym all day and they work on their bodies, and then they scam older women like into sending them money. Like I kind of feel like that's kind of like a full-time job now. Like remember back in the day, people used to be like, "Oh, she's a gold digger." I
Mhm.
think that there's like male gold digging. Like, what's the word? Is there a word? Do we even have a term for that now? Like,
Um, for a male gold digger, I don't know, like a gigolo.
oh yeah. We do have a word. Yeah, I think that the male gigolo situation is popping up on the show a little more than we're used to, because we used to watch it and it was people like Larissa trying to scam Colt, or people like Anfisa trying to scam George. But like now it's like role reversal. It's like
Mhm.
guys are trying to get the women to get them a green card and give them a better life. So it's kind of interesting to watch the tables turn.
No, that's why like when women watch the Bachelor TV show and then all the guys have like six pack abs and stuff and then but none of them have like real jobs because all they do is just go to the gym
Well,
all day.
that was okay. So my thing is, in order to look like Sarper or Sean or Boja, whatever these men look like, or Benium, you can't do anything else but go to the gym all day, every single day, and you can't even eat. You like
Mhm.
go and you look at food and you sniff it and then you don't eat it. Like it's not possible to look like that
Mhm.
all the time. And I think that the men put in all that work because they know that they're like statues, they're walking statues, and women are willing to pay money to have a walking statue walking around their house. And I think that there's like a market for it. I feel like back in the day, men were paying hookers to hang out with and escorts, and I think it's the whole thing has shifted. Like now older women that have a good job and have a normal life, they want some statue that they can have walking around their house with no shirt on. And I feel like it's kind of humorous to me. I don't
Mhm.
know, funny to me, but it's probably not to them, but it's kind of humorous to me.
True. So let's go to I feel you, but let's go to like the Rain fight or Renee fight. So you that was a nice payoff for you, the explosive fight.
Yeah, I was waiting for that explosion. I mean, I kind of thought things were going to get physical because they showed us some previews where she got in Victoria's face, but things didn't get physical. But it got pretty close. She got in her face and she's screaming and she's telling Chitty to shut up and she's packing her shit. Like, I was excited to see how far it was going to go, but it didn't go as far as I wanted it to. But again, I didn't want anybody hitting each other either. But I did want to see, how this was going to explode. And she kept saying, I have a thing against sisters.
Hmm.
What does that mean? Like, if you're a woman and you have a sibling, she just doesn't like you. Like, and then she kept saying, like, when this earth was created, it wasn't oh man, I can't remember what she said. She kept saying these weird things
Yeah, she said
during,
some weird.
and I couldn't figure out like what the importance of that was, because I know she
Mhm.
doesn't believe in God and she thinks that there's aliens and all this, and I think she also thinks she's an alien, which I'm leaning towards believing that. I think she might not be a person. I think she might be some sort of creature. Like I actually don't disagree.
Mhm.
Like believe that like aliens are walking among us, and then when I see her on my TV, I question that. Maybe they are. Who knows?
Yeah. So do you like her nickname, Rage and Renee?
I do like it. I do like it with the meme. Are you the
Mhm.
one that posted that? It was her
Yeah.
going crazy, looked like she was about to blow a head gasket. Yeah, I like that a lot, and I think that Twitter Twitter was referring to her as Angela Stand-in, and I can kind of see it. I can kind of see it. It takes a special type of person to yell at a blind person and say you're never gonna see me again.
Mhm.
It's a special type of person because I was like, that's like a real insult to injury. Because he's like, "Are you leaving?" Because obviously he doesn't know, he can't fucking see. And she's like, "Oh, you're never gonna see me again." And I was like, "Ooh, harsh, below the belt. He can't see." So like, that's the nastiest, meanest. Like, it takes a real nasty person to say something like that.
Yeah, and she was and the whole time. Well, you took the words out of my mouth, but yeah, the whole time she's like sweating profusely and stuff.
Well, yeah, she kind of looked like she was a creature. Yeah, okay. When there's like that werewolf, like it's like a dude, and then at night he turns into like some sort of dog wolf. Like she was
Mhm.
like she was about to transform into some sort of creature because she was making these weird faces. Her body was like convulsing,
Mhm.
and I was just like, "Damn, is she about to like shapeshift?" I was like, "What is happening?" She's like losing it. And I was like, I was kind of scared. I was like, I would actually call the cops. I'm kind of scared.
Oh, that reminds me of if you watch Black Mirror. I don't know if you do. You watch Black Mirror?
I do watch Black Mirror.
Okay, so did you see the newest season?
I had wait. When did it come out? Because I
Like in the last year, like in the last 12 months.
possibly I'm pretty sure I did.
Because there was a werewolf episode in the newest season.
I think I might have saw it. I remember
Yeah,
something like I actually love Black Mirror. I've been watching it since the beginning. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I.
true. Yeah, so that reminded me of that. Is that she's like half transformation, like yeah, like you said, turning into a werewolf or something.
Yeah, I saw it. She was turning into something, and the
Mhm.
anger that she had, and she's so disrespectful, right? Because I was like, you're in Africa, no offense, but like you're a white lady in Africa, and you're talking to everybody like you're better than them. I was like, you're probably gonna get dragged. Like you don't go to a country where you're the minority and just be so nasty and crazy to people and just hope that nobody, whoops your ass. Because I was like, eventually, because even Angela, she didn't go in Nigeria and act crazy and stay. She went in Nigeria, act crazy, and got back on a plane and left. She knew not to stay over there. Like I feel like she was asking for it. I was like, you don't want to end up in a third world jail. So
Mhm.
who are they going to believe? The people that look like them or the people that don't? Like, so you don't want to end up in a third world jail.
Yeah, true that. And then so like I'm switching gears, but like last week I posted a Matilda meme where I said she looks at Niles like he's a meal ticket. I don't know if
Yeah,
you remember that one.
yeah,
And
I
then
remember.
so a lot of people in the comments were like, "No, this is true love. She don't see him that way." And then on tonight's episode, we saw where she kind of was again seeing him as Mr. Moneybags, asking for him to buy her, her.
Well, yeah, she said, "Are you paying for this?" you know
Mhm.
okay, I'm not gonna like drag her because like usually when a man asks a woman, do you want to go shopping, that means that implies I'm gonna take you shopping. But the fact that she went in Lagos and found an $80 dress, because look, remember we were watching Lauren, he was shopping, um where was he at, in the Philippines, I believe, and he
Yeah.
was getting Crocs for like $1, and he was getting like a shirt for like 40 cents. It's like I was under the impression that when you go shopping in these countries that you get more bang for your buck. They ended up in a place where she got an $80 dress. That's like more than Sheen charges for it,
Mhm.
right? Like I was like, and it's not a coincidence they ended up in that place. This is her country. She knew where to take him. She knew where the stuff was that she wanted. So I definitely think that she sees him as a rich American man that's going to give her a better life. And a lot of times people who watch American TV in those countries think that we all live underneath the Hollywood sign in those
Mhm.
houses. Or if you watch a Tyler Perry movie, everybody lives in a house that's the size of a shopping mall. Like I think a lot of people take that at face value. They're just like, oh, Americans. And then, they end up with Niles, or remember David, the deaf guy, he went over there and he didn't have much money. Like they end up with like a normal American guy with a normal amount of money, but I don't think that they realize that till the shit's too late.
Did the $80 price tag? Do you think that had like an American upcharge in there to try to rip him off a little bit, or?
Yes. When Matilda said, when he said how much it is, and she says, I don't know until I ask. And I was like, since he has an American accent, I know whatever price that she came up with, I 100% believe it was 2 or 3 times what she would have said if that person was from Nigeria, from Lagos.
Mm.
I know for a fact because I know because Emily and Kobe said this before. They were like, if they know that you're from America, everything costs more
Mhm.
that you have it. So if you want to rent a car, if you want to buy food, and I think Jenny said this too as well when she was on the season with Submit. She was like, if she went to the market to buy groceries without Submit, everything costs 3 times more than if Submit would have went to the market to buy groceries because they know she's an American and she can pay more and she's an idiot because well, no offense, Jenny's not an idiot, but when you're in that country, you don't really know what the price should be because you just don't know.
Mhm.
So you're gonna pay whatever they say. And I know for a fact they're like, "Oh, we got an American, we got a sucker, we're gonna get him."
Yeah. No, I feel yeah. I recall that Jenny scene or whatever. So yeah,
Yeah,
he probably had a little
but
upcharge on that dress.
and the lady, they were just waiting for her. They were just like,
Mhm.
"Oh,
Oh, by the way, this is a random like minutia thing, but were you surprised when he went to buy the ring? The attendant was like an Asian woman.
I was surprised. You're in my head. I was surprised. That caught me off guard. So I was a little confused because I was like, what's she doing there? Like that's weird to have a business there in Lagos. So I'm beginning to think that Asian people are just really smart and they just put businesses all over the world. I think that they're just very smart and they just know that they can thrive anywhere. Cause I was like, that's really weird that he went to a jewelry store and it's run by an Asian woman in Africa. Like it's just stuff like that that you wouldn't think of.
Hmm. Yeah, you would almost think like they filmed that in his hometown or something, but she had the conversions calculated, so I guess it was in Africa.
Yeah, yeah, I'm pretty sure they were still in Africa. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he didn't. But another thing I wanted to bring up, the upcharge on the ring didn't seem as crazy as the upcharge on the dress. Did you notice that? Like, because she was like,
Hmm.
"Oh, it's 3,500, whatever they use over there." And then she's like, "That comes out to like 230 to 290 in American." And I was like, "See, that's what I would expect to
Hmm.
pay overseas." I was like, "I feel like that dress," because I was like, "What is this? A Christian Dior?" I was like, "Why are you charging $80 in Lagos?" That's crazy to me. That sounded crazy to me.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, one of our listeners is saying there are a lot of Asians that are living in West Africa.
Really?
Yeah.
I need to look. I need to look into that and see what's the influx in that, and what's the. I wonder if it's like a economic thing. They're going over there to become more successful. Yeah,
Maybe
it's
the.
because that would be considered third world. So you would think
Mhm.
if you were looking to become more successful, you would avoid those places. But I'm beginning to think that's not the case.
True. So let's break down what happened with Brian and Ingrid as far as like their botched sexual relations.
I mean, I don't really know. I mean, things went well with her friends, right? Her friends seemed open to him and they liked him. Then they get back to the hotel. He buys some assless lingerie, which, that's the way to go. And apparently the massage went well. Ingrid decides they should be intimate. And he decides, well, he didn't decide. He didn't have a condom, which is really weird to me because he's made it clear that he enjoys the women in Brazil. He
Mhm.
said he literally goes back there over and over because of the women. So it was really weird to me that he ended up being condomless. Because let's be real, every time we watch a guy pack to go visit a woman overseas, especially on 90 Day, I remember Colt, a bunch of the guys they pack condoms. Like it's kind of an expectation
Mhm.
that you're gonna need that. So the fact that he didn't have it was really weird to me. I mean, I know he uses them for his catheter or whatever, so I was like, maybe he just used them up or whatever. Because the whole situation confused the hell out of me. Because he doesn't seem like the person that wouldn't have a condom when you needed one, right?
Yeah, I mean, he came prepared with the Viagra and then not the condom, but then but also it's weird in the sense of because the kibosh on the session happened when he tried to perform oral on her and then she kind of stopped him and then I guess he freaked out after that on her.
Well, yeah, he when he couldn't produce the condom, he's like, "Well, I'll do this. It's the next best thing."
Okay,
He,
yeah, you're right. Like I was the way I was thinking in my head was like maybe well normally in my normally you would think like the oral would happen first and then when you try to decide to go further then the condom would come up, but I
well,
guess you're right, the condom came up first.
yeah, in a normal. encounter, that's usually always how it works. That it's that then that. So yeah, it was backwards first of all.
Mhm.
But she didn't want that, which was interesting because she was giving him permission to have sex with her, but then not giving him permission to go down on her. Which the whole thing, I was watching it and I'm sitting here and I'm like, why can't I figure out what really happened? Right? Because whatever they're telling us is clearly not everything that we need to know because it doesn't make sense to me. So I'm like
Mhm.
trying to figure out what actually happened, and I don't know. I honestly don't know what went wrong.
Yeah, and then were you? I mean, I made a tweet about. I said, "quote Wow, this really is a new era of 90 Day Fiance. When's the last time you witnessed two concerned producers on camera checking on a cast member?" So were you surprised by that part?
Wait, you mean when they were like interviewing them separately after the fight?
Yeah, but yeah, like when they were talking to Ingrid in the car.
Oh yeah, I mean no, I think that this is their new damage control that they're going to stick with. I think that they learned a hard lesson with Nicole and Mahmoud and Angela and Michael. You know, I think they learned a hard lesson, and I think this is the way that it's going to go now. And they did it with Shekinah and Sarper when he ripped their hair out of her head. I think that they're giving the portrayal that, oh, we do care if they're okay. We do care, you know, we are going to ask and see if, you know, they're faring out of this situation. I think this is the new normal. I think this is what they have to do now, so people will stop coming so hard on them, because this is like, for the new franchise, all of the new umbrella companies that are purchased, this is one of the bigger money makers that they got in the deal. So if they can't run 90 Day into the ground, because all of the other entities that they bought under this Warner Brothers title, you know, it's like Harry Potter, it's like it's a bunch of extinct things. You know, it's only making streaming money. This is real money. 90 Day is still making real money. So I feel like they're gonna do whatever they can to keep it alive.
Yeah, and then so I guess there was the story where like I guess Brian, who drives Uber, he was like shit talking Ingrid in the Uber or something. So
Yeah,
he's probably waiting for this episode to come out. So he's like
he
shit talking
called
her in advance of this episode.
he called her a prostitute, bro. Like, he
Mhm.
basically said that her and all her friends are all prostitutes, which I didn't believe. But I'm okay. So how do I word this? I don't think that she's a prostitute, but I wouldn't be surprised if Brian likes to hook up with prostitutes. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Like, I feel like he goes to Brazil because his money goes farther, and he can probably get like a $3,000 American version prostitute for like $300 over there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like he can stretch his dollar. So like, you know, if you go to Vegas and you get like a super high end escort, she's like 3 grand. Not that I would know this, guys. I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. But I feel like he would go to Brazil and he can get like the highest top tier
Mhm.
escort or hooker in his budget, and I feel like that's probably why. But I have no strong feelings that Ingrid is actually a prostitute. I don't believe that, and if she is, you know, I don't judge her. But I just think that that's just a retaliative thing that he said about her when she dumped his ass. Like, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean one of Ingrid's girlfriends was wearing a very like
Revealing, yeah, I
the
saw it.
top the like the harness, the booby harness.
Yeah, but are we really in a place right now to call people hookers based on how they dress? I don't really feel like we should be doing that. I feel like we, in 2024, if a girl's boobs are out, like, or she's wearing a crop top, we can't be calling her a hooker because she's wearing a
Mhm.
crop. I don't know how many concerts you go to, but every time I go to a concert, there's just boobs out everywhere. Like, girls basically are wearing pasties in public now. They're not hookers. They just want to be sexy, you know? So I don't want us to get to that point where we're saying, "Oh, she's dressed revealing, so she's a hooker now." Like, I don't want us to get into that space.
Yeah, no, we should only be trashing the main cast members, not the
Yeah, yeah, just
auxiliary people.
I feel like she's a mom, and you know, she answered that statement on her Instagram, and she said she works every day from 9 to 5. She takes her kid to school, and I guess what he said in that Uber ride was she's got other kids. That was one of the things that he alleged. He was like, "Oh, she's got more than that kid, and she's got a special needs kid. She's got all these kids because she's a prostitute." And I was like, "What?" But she didn't answer that part of it. She just said that she has that kid and she works every day and she's not, or whatever. But again, I don't care if she is or not. I mean, if that's what she does, I don't judge. You know, I
Mhm.
feel like if anything, him bringing that up and outing her, if she was, it just shows the type of person he is. Because I wouldn't be surprised if he only goes to Brazil because of the abundance of cheap prostitutes. Like, so I feel like it's more telling on his part than it is for her. I don't care if she's a prostitute or not. Do what you gotta do. I'm not judging her for that. I'm judging him for outing her on TV as a prostitute. That just shows he's an asshole.
But yeah, I forget how many he said. Like I've been back to Brazil like for the last like 10 or 12 years.
He said over 30 times.
Yeah, oh yeah. When I hear that, like a guy going to the same country over and over again, yeah, it gives like sex tourist energy.
Yeah, what it reminded me of? What was that couple on Love in Paradise? His name was Luke, and she had a nail
Mhm.
salon, and she spelled beauty wrong. It gave me.
Yeah,
Remember Luke? He kept going back. Where was she from?
Colombia or something.
Colombia, and he kept going back to Colombia, and he paid for her nail salon, and I was just like, and it
And
gave me,
he bought the sunglasses.
yeah, it gave me hooker vibes because
Yeah.
I don't know if she's a hooker or not, but it gave me hooker vibes, and I was like, you go to that country, you frequent that country too much, you know,
hmm
you're giving me sex tourist vibes, because that's
Yeah.
what I got from Brian, because he was like, oh, I've been, after he started playing professional ball there, he said he went back over 30 times, and he's like, every time I go back, he said to Ingrid's friends, he's like, I usually meet women and we have sex on the first night. And I was like, well, that could be
hmm
a prostitute situation. It could not be, but I look at both sides of the picture.
Like I know a guy in real life. One of my friends is like falls in that category, but his country is Mexico.
Oh, so he goes to Mexico all the time. So yeah, and I
Mm.
mean, I totally get that, because you, not only is Mexico affordable and for lots of different reasons, but there are beautiful, beautiful women who are willing to, you know,
Mm.
what it is what it is. I get it. But it's like, I judge, if you want to call somebody out for what they're doing, I judge you too. Like, I judge him for going and taking part of it. I don't just judge her for doing it. I feel like you got to take responsibility too.
Mhm. True. Ari, in our last topic of the night, and who we haven't talked about, which is a surprise, we haven't gotten to him yet, which would be Lauren and Faith.
So yeah, Lauren was back tonight, and Faith wouldn't go in his hotel room, which, because he's still infected with gonorrhea. So
Mhm.
he invited her in the room, and she was like, "Yeah, I don't feel comfortable being in your room." So they went out and they had a talk, and he came clean for the most part, right? Like, he said that
Mhm.
he was sleeping with people at least once a week minimally while they were dating. And guys, keep in mind, they've been together for 6 months. So if you like add it up, the number is pretty high. He's been banging a lot, So
Mhm.
she's super hurt, and she's not gonna cancel the meeting with her parents, but she's also not gonna introduce him as her boyfriend. So he's just some guy or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. To me, it seemed like, when the relationship's kind of in the dumps, but it's like, yeah, let's continue filming the show kind of thing.
well, right. It's like he's there for 20 days. The film crew is there. We got to keep going. The show must go on. And I kind
Mhm.
of feel like that's kind of where we are. She's
Yeah.
clearly checked out. He's not.
hmm
No, he's not. He's still trying to get him a nice little space in the Philippines where he can avoid child support. But I think Faith is checked out. I think Faith knows that this has run its course, but she also knows that, you started something. You signed a contract. You said you were going to film. You said you're going to do it. They have to ride it out. And I just
hmm
feel like it is what her parents were already going to be coming to film. They were probably told they were going to get an appearance fee. So you got to go through with it. I feel like that's kind of where she is.
Yeah, I got a weird Instagram comment today under a Lauren post where some woman was like, "Stop giving him such a hard time. Millions of people have gonorrhea every year, or whatever." They were all defending his STDs and stuff.
That's an interesting tweet of or comment of support. Like, don't judge this person for having a, we're not judging him for having gonorrhea. I think we should be clearer. We're judging him for like knowing that he had discharge and he was gonna have sex with her until the person called and said, you have gonorrhea. Right? I think that's where the judgment came in. We're not like judging him. I'm not saying that STDs are like some horrible,
Mm,
shameful thing. They happen. Sometimes you are in a situation and you don't know what's going on and you catch them. I'm not saying that. I think it was kind of messed up that he knew that there was weird, milky, weird discharge, right? And
mhm.
it didn't stop him. Y'all remember, he was trying to get intimate with her the first night. And that's where I was mad because I was like, well, you knew something weird was going on down there. You
Mm.
should at least like Googled it, like you should have at least Googled it.
Yeah, I mean, but I forget what I replied back, but I think I did have a smart ass comment reply, and I was like, yeah, but he also had a yeast infection in his ass.
He did, which
So,
was news to me. I didn't know that you could have one there. I mean,
mm,
there's clearly a lot of shit that I don't know. Because remember when what's his name, Masuelo, had like a yeast infection in his mouth, and I was confused by that. Like, there's a
mm,
lot. Like, I guess when I was in school, since I went to Christian school and we were supposed to never have sex until we got married, no one taught us anything. So like
mm.
now I'm like learning stuff, and it's like I'm too old to not know this stuff. Like I should have known this.
Yeah, like that's like the cat is out of that bag so much so by Lauren that there's no whitewashing it. And sorry to
Well,
use a bad pun with thrush.
he's
Anyway,
so
good.
like to it because he was like, "Oh, this is take a pill and in a week you're good." Like he's so accustomed. This isn't his first rodeo. I think that's the issue. It's like who is he banging that he's getting gonorrhea frequently, right? Like
Mhm,
gonorrhea should be a one and done situation in your life, right? Like you
mhm.
messed up once. It's not gonna happen again. Like it shouldn't be oh yeah, I had gonorrhea last year. I had gonorrhea before that. It shouldn't be a thing where you know the treatment and you're not a doctor, right? Like you shouldn't know the treatment plan.
Yeah, you'd based on his sexual proclivities, you wouldn't think he's like a new resident of Sin City. You would think he's lived in Sin City his whole life.
Yeah, yeah, it's hard to believe that he was doing this stuff in Washington, right? I thought
Mhm.
Washington was um, a nice white picket fence town. Like I was very surprised. I was like, really, this is going on in Washington? I would be surprised. Did you tell me it's happening in Vegas? I ain't surprised, but I was very surprised. Oh, I
Mhm.
wanted to ask, are you watching House of Villains?
I'm not watching it, but I posted a clip of the Larissa fight, but I'm not watching the actual show.
Oh, okay, okay. I'm watching it. It's really good. But yeah, that Larissa
But
fight was it was a
but
good.
I
It was
someone did like we could talk about it and spoil it. Who cares, right? So I somebody did spoil it, and if somebody's about to watch House of Villains and doesn't want any spoilers, tune away right now. But somebody spoiled it and said they voted off Larissa like the first week or so.
Yeah, the very first elimination, they got rid of Larissa.
Mhm.
And I think it had to do with the fact that she got into a huge fight with this girl named Victoria like minutes before the elimination. And she called her stupid, she called her a dumb bitch, an asshole, and she got in her face. She basically, she showed a lot of aggression. And I think the other cast members, they were all new to the house, so they didn't like all the aggression, so they were a little scared, so they got rid of her. So I was kind of disappointed. Our only 90 Day Fiance representation is now gone,
Mhm.
so I was a little disappointed in that because I want to say when I watched the show The Goat, it had what's her name, Paola on it. She made it like all the way to the top three. So
Mhm.
I had like good 90 Day representation the whole time basically, and then she didn't win. Oh, so she was in the finale, so she was there the whole time. So now we're watching it, and now it's like other shows like Survivor and Big Brother and The Bachelor, like stuff that I don't really care about. So like it's gonna be harder to keep my attention now.
Those competition shows. So if you get voted off the first week versus all the way at the end, does the person that stays on get paid more? Like,
Okay,
I mean,
so
like per episode payments and stuff.
no, the per episode payments are the same.
Mm-hmm.
Um, House of Villains is $25,000 per episode. And then it, like for instance, Larissa was on 2 episodes. She was on episode one, The Arrivals, and then episode two. She's gonna get a $50,000 check. And then when if
Okay.
they have a reunion, she'll get paid something flat for that. But for instance, whoever makes it to the finale this
Mm.
season, on to episode 12, they're gonna get 12 times 25,000. So
Okay.
nobody gets more. Well, okay, so I don't want to lie and say that's true, but sometimes people do get more. But when you get more than the amount that is set, that's you have to sign a non-disclosure agreement you can't discuss. So like say for instance, New York, Tiffany Pollard might be getting more than $25,000 because she's been on, I can't even count how many
Hmm.
reality shows, so they might see her as worth a little more. But the
Yeah.
go rate for that show is 25K per episode.
Okay. No, that's a good nugget of info because I wasn't sure if you got booted off the first episode, you'll get paid less than the guy that's on their 10 or 12 episodes.
Well, I mean, total, yeah, yeah, but not like your rate doesn't change. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. True. All right. Well, any other topics you want to hit before we end it?
Oh, so apparently next week we're gonna get Vaya and Sunny back, and almost right away, Sunny finds out that Rory is there, and he flips the fuck out. So I'm kind of interested in that because we just got Vanja on this season, so I'm wondering. No, 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 not that. I want to see who's gonna stop filming on the other way because I know that there's people who are not gonna make it to the end. So we saw
Hmm.
the preview for next week and for the other way, and it looked like Sunny was telling her to go back to the US. So
Hmm.
I'm beginning to think that story might be the one and done story that we were talking about before.
So then they have more time for Bozo, the clown basketball player.
Yeah, for Bozo and all this. I mean, I always thought that they had too many people. Like for the seasons, it used to be like 4 to 5 people. Now it's like 7 to 8, and I always thought it was too much. But I think that they've been factoring in these quick stories. They get over there, they actually realize they hate each other, they don't get along, and it's quick. They did that with Debbie, and Osama. She went over there. She was supposed to be there for a month. She left after 2 weeks. They couldn't stand each other, and they stretched it out as long as they could. But they didn't have any footage, and I think
Hmm.
that's more.
Yeah, no, you're on point.
But yeah, that's it. That's it for me. That's all the topics I got. So if anybody else has anything we didn't cover, but yeah, this was a fun episode for me. I was actually excited. I had a bunch of things to do today, and I was thinking about watching the show, and that hasn't happened in a while. Like I've been bored lately, but I was
Hmm.
actually out doing other things, like checking my watch. Like, oh, is it time yet? Like I was actually ready.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, it was a good episode, and I feel like because when you watch a TV episode or anything else, you consume anything, you'll remember the beginning of the episode, and then remember the end of the episode, and you'll forget the middle. But so they bookended it with Chitty and Renee fight, so you're gonna like remember that entertaining fight.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I knew it was coming because I saw the first look on Friday. I knew it was coming. I was ready. But yeah, I felt like this episode it reminded me of the older episodes, right? Like
Mhm.
back in the day. And I was just like, damn, this was good. This was like good from start to finish. I didn't like get up. Usually I'll get up, go get drinks if there's somebody on that I don't like or whatever. I sat down the whole time, so I knew it was good.
Well, one cup I don't really necessarily want to talk about them because they didn't come up naturally. So, but we didn't even talk about Tiger Lily. So there must have been boring today. Today.
Yeah, I'm gonna be real honest with you. I'm like 150% checked out on her whole storyline. Like I'm
Yeah.
so fake. It's so plastic. It's so boring. Every time she opens her mouth, it's just this act. I know she can't be this stupid. I know that this is an act. I know it's bullshit. I know she doesn't. She didn't realize that the Muslim religion is double standard yesterday. Like I'm just checked out. Like every
Yeah.
time on, I can't stand her voice. I can't stand her face. I can't like. I'm just done. Like she's that one person on the show that I just can't deal with. Like they can uninvite her to the tell all. I'm good with that. Like I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to deal with this shit. I don't.
Yeah. No, I didn't bring him up either because I had nothing really interesting. Nothing
Well,
interesting happened.
the whole storyline is BS. It's her being surprised that being a Muslim is not fun for women, which everybody in the freaking world already knows that. Like we've been doing this Muslim story with an American woman for a decade, at least.
Mhm.
Like not new information. So I'm just over it.
True. All right. Well, I guess we should end there so we still have stuff to talk about Friday.
Yeah, we'll be back Friday. We'll be talking about the other way, and then whatever weird, strange things that the cast members do or post throughout the week, we'll be talking about that too. It's only Sunday, so there was a picture of Corona wearing something strange. So we'll obviously on Friday we'll be discussing that. I'm pretty sure you saw it, right? It was like a video.
He has a video.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so That'll be one of our topics on Friday because we need to talk about that.
Yeah, oh, one quick little addendum though. I guess Payola did win the goat.
Wait, she won?
Yeah.
Oh crap! I didn't realize she actually won the goat. I thought that she was in the. I knew she was in the finale. I didn't realize she won. That's actually kick ass. Look at that 90 Day Fiance representation right there. That was the goat was really good. I don't know if you did. You watch the goat? It was the one with Daniel Tosh.
I didn't watch it, but didn't it have the guy from Shaw's of Sunset?
Yep. Yeah, it did.
Yeah,
It,
Reza. I like Reza, but I didn't watch the show.
yeah, it was good. I'm actually happy. I didn't realize. I forgot that she actually won. I knew she was in the finale, but that's kick ass. Good for her. She's actually Paula's actually. I ain't gonna lie, one of the more successful people like outside of the franchise. She's done so much shit outside of 90 Day Fiance. She didn't like need it to be
Mm.
successful wrestler. I'm pretty sure she won like 250K on that show alone. That's crazy. And when you win the whole thing, I don't know if people know this, you get the prize, which is like $250,000, and then you get your episode fees on top of it. I don't know if people realize that. So say she got like 10 grand an episode, that's like a
Mm.
100,000 episode fee, and then she got a 250,000 on top of that. So she came out on top.
Yeah, so she's doing better than her TLC days probably.
Oh yeah, all the other cast members are struggling, right? Like, all the other
Yeah.
cast struggling. Oh, and Friday we got to talk about some other stuff that came up because Angela was asking for money to repair her house, and then everyone found out recently that she rents. So Friday we're gonna talk about that too, guys. We're gonna get into that.
Yeah, and we'll talk about Common rapping to Angela, but we'll
Oh
save that for Friday.
yeah, we'll talk about that too. Yeah, we got a lot to discuss. But yeah, everybody have a good, what is it, Columbus Day, right? Good Columbus
Yeah.
Day. And make sure you're watching. Oh, Thousand Pound Sisters is on. I don't know if anybody watches that. It's good, so watch that too.
Yeah, and then I'll have this. I guess if you're listening live, this is not gonna be too helpful to you, but I'll have the recording of this tomorrow, Monday, on like Spotify and Apple under 90 Day Fiance Fridays podcast. This is the special Sunday edition.
That you guys got to hear first. If you're here right now, you heard it first. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in live. So you were the first ones to hear it.
For sure. And we'll see y'all Friday.
All right, guys. We'll be back Friday to talk about all this wild, crazy stuff. Everybody have a good day.
All right. Peace.
Peace.